Hey guys, hope you guys are doing well. So today is May 6th. So let's talk about some reminders and then uh, talk about what we're going to work on today. So due today, the 6th, is this Explore 1 population dynamics. So let's take a look at that before we move on to anything else. So this one, I told you there was some pretty interesting stuff that's going on with this population graph. We definitely see some population dynamics, meaning it's changing. So we have red squirrels, gray squirrels, and wolves. And if we just take a look at the numbers, we can see the red squirrel numbers go down, gray squirrel numbers go up, and the wolf numbers go up, and then they start to drop off. So the way that the graph looks is something like this. So we get that um, red squirrels, they go up, but they start going down also because the wolves are eating them. And we see that the red squirrel number goes off to pretty much nothing pretty quickly. Um, the gray squirrel numbers definitely go up, and my wolf numbers jump up, but then they go down. So where they ended is lower than when they started. So something's going on here. There's a ton of food for the wolves. They're just not eating it. Um, there's nothing special about gray squirrels versus red squirrels. I'm sure they taste the same. I'm sure the wolves would be happy to eat them. The question is, well, why is the wolf population going down? Why is the gray squirrel population going up? Um, there's a there's some reason that those aren't being eaten, and it probably has to do with camouflage. Those red squirrels probably stood out pretty easily. Bulls were able to get them. Their population went down. The gray squirrels, maybe they hide a little bit better. Maybe the location of where they live is a little bit different. The wolves can't get to them. They don't have a predator, so their numbers go up, and we see that wolf numbers go down. So let's look at this one more time. We'll see that when we started out, we had zero gray squirrels and we had a whole bunch of red squirrels. And then 8 years later, all of a sudden, we have some gray squirrels that pop up. A couple of things could have happened there. One is we just had a population that came in. They found that it was a nice place to live. They were able to be safe, have little baby gray squirrels, and it was all nice and dandy, especially when the red squirrel numbers got down. They had less competition. The other possibility is that we could have had a mutation in the red squirrels. Possibly the mutation made it so that they could not produce any more pigment, making them gray. Typically, that would be a useless mutation. Difference between hair color, probably not too useful. In this situation, it seems like it was useful because the red squirrels are being eaten by the wolves. The gray squirrels seem to have a little bit of camouflage. Now we had that mutation, the mutation that's available in the population. Those are the ones that are going to be able to survive a little bit better. And because they're going to survive a little bit better, they have a chance to reproduce. And eventually we see that we end up with the entire population is gray squirrels and the red squirrels have died off in that particular area. So this is an example of evolution. We have a change in the characteristics of alleles of a specific gene that looks like it codes for fur color. So we'll definitely get more into the topic of evolution and how it works, but this is a very good example of that. Possibly there was a mutation there, and that mutation at this in this example is actually good. All right, let's talk about some of this stuff coming up. A few of you have turned in your outdoor activity. Keep on doing that. Some of you have just done a write up. Uh, if you've got pictures of your area, put that in there too. I'd like to see where you guys are at. Um, Today, what you're going to be working on is two topics. This first one is just a couple readings, or one reading. You've got a couple options that you can choose from. You'll get a week to work on that. And then the Explorer 2, you'll have a week and a half to, about a week and a couple days to work on that one. So let's look at this one first. So you've got two articles that you can read. One of them is talking about the 30% of decline of insects over the last few decades, and the other one is talking about a 30% decline in bird populations over the last few decades. And both of those are problems. Maybe when you were outside, just chilling out, doing your forest 10 minutes, maybe you didn't really see too many insects or hear too many birds, and that's what we've been finding out is that insect populations are going down, bird populations are going down. It's not a good thing. So you'll pick one of those to read. And we've got 4 questions for you to answer. First one, summarize in a paragraph, not one sentence, the main points of the article, and then why are there decreases in population? Why is this an important thing for human existence? And I'm not saying for birds because they're pretty. Why is a decrease in birds a problem for human survival? And then what can we do to reverse this? Might have to do some outside research on that other than what's in the article. So you can put that in a Google Doc or type it up in the text box and send that in. The other one that you're going to be working on is explore 2 factors of population decline. You're going to have a little bit of freedom to choose what you want to do on here. You can choose one of the following ecosystems. We've done a little bit about this earlier, but you're going to look at it a little bit differently. You can choose a terrestrial, freshwater, or marine. Doesn't really matter to me which one you choose. So you're going to tell me which ecosystem you're researching. You're going to look at these 5 factors that can cause problems in populations. Find some information about each of those. And then while you're researching, you need to be answering these 3 questions. What specific actions or events contribute to this factor? How does the factor impact biodiversity? How do ecosystems change as a result of this factor? So, for example, to take climate change for our first one, what specific actions or events contribute to climate change? Well, that's a lot of that is humans burning fossil fuels. How does climate change impact biodiversity? How do ecosystems change as a result of climate change? So you're going to be answering those 3 questions for each of those 5 factors for your specific system that you're looking at. Put all this in a Google slideshow or Prezi. Prezis are kind of cool way of showing information. You can make a video too if you're bored and you want to try that. If you make a Google slideshow, make sure you put your link in here and make sure you turn on your sharing settings. A lot of you did not do that on your last one. I can't grade it if there's no share. It's not shared in there. So when you share it, make sure you click the share button up here. Over here where it says anyone at North Thurston Public Schools can view. Make sure that is checked. If this is checked, then I can't see it. So make sure that's checked. And then when you give me this share link that's in here, when you copy and paste it in there, I can open up yours and look at it. Your final question, I think it's going to be kind of a interesting question to see what you guys think on this one, based on what you see, based on your research. Decide on which one you think impacts biodiversity the most: climate change, habitat destruction, overexploitation, pollution, and invasive species. We're not going to be able to review the other groups, so after reviewing the information, you'll write that paragraph. All right, so if you want to look at your rubric, there's a rubric down there. So to be working on today. Finish up your outdoor activity if you haven't, and then start on these two things. If you have questions, send me an email. Typically also in the Google Meet that's on our homepage from 12 to 2 if you have any questions. All right, talk to you guys later.